Welcome to the She Speaks to Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. She Speaks to Inspire is an empowering public speaking podcast for women with public speaking fear. Unlike other podcasts on public speaking, She Speaks to Inspire not only gives you tips to be a confident communicator under pressure, but also helps you regulate your nervous system for less anxiety, learn lifestyle practices to reduce burnout and overwhelm, and reconnect with your feminine leadership presence for more authenticity and comfort in your skin. I believe it's the quiet ones, especially the quiet women, who have the most important ideas. I believe the world really does need your voice. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the She Speaks to Inspire podcast. I'm excited today to talk about a holistic approach to speaker training and how your lifestyle might not be supporting your goals around speaking and leadership presence and growing your confidence. For those of you who are new to the She Speaks to Inspire podcast, welcome. I'm your host, Julia Kraft. I'm so glad that you found me, and I hope today's episode is helpful to you. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe or follow the show so you get updates about when the new episodes come out each month. And if you haven't already, check out speaktoinspire.com. Register for the masterclass there so you can dive deeper into the topics and learn more about the Fully Expressed program. Update: the Fully Expressed program has shifted in terms of how I'm offering it. So it's more of a digital program format that is really accessible for everyone. You can be anywhere in the world, learn in your own time, in your own comfortable space. As an introvert, that's what we love, right? And the investment is super accessible as well. So head over to speaktoinspire.com, watch the masterclass, and consider joining the Fully Expressed program. It would be my honor to be your mentor. Okay, so let's talk about your lifestyle. Why do I talk about your lifestyle when you think you're listening to a public speaking podcast? Well, you are listening to a public speaking podcast. That's what I specialize in, supporting professional women, especially introverted professional women, to get rid of speaking anxiety and get better at high stakes communications. If your biggest challenge around being in the spotlight and being a thought leader within your work is that you get anxious and nervous, then I'm here to tell you the solution, and I say this in a lot of other podcast episodes, so keep listening to other ones. It isn't planning everything out, scripting everything out, being perfect with your content. Certainly not. And it isn't about trying to be a TED Talk speaker or a motivational speaker necessarily. A lot of the times, the women that I'm working with, the kind of speaking that they do, it's meetings, interviews, panel discussions. It's much more casual environments, less formal environments, less formal presentations. And they're doing those presentations, those communications on a very regular basis. Maybe you have that important update meeting that you lead every Monday, every single Monday. Maybe you do a panel discussion 2 or 3 times a month. Maybe you're running interviews or leading trainings several times a week. That's why to improve your speaking and to feel more confident whenever the spotlight is on you is really a lifestyle shift. So let's start this episode by asking, is your lifestyle supporting your goals around speaking? What are your goals around speaking? Let's start with that. A lot of times women tell me they want to be more confident. They want to feel more confident. They want to come across more confident. Perhaps you want to be more concise. Perhaps it's simply to be less nervous, less anxious, and for it to just not be a big deal anymore. Whatever your goal is your lifestyle supporting the goals you have around your speaking. As you reflect on that, I'm going to share with you some of the really common challenges, lifestyle challenges that I hear from the women I work with, and I've experienced pretty much all of these myself. So the most common one is stress, burnout. When I ask them 1 to 10, how much stress do you have in their life? A lot of times I get like 7, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s, 15s, So how much stress do you have in your life right now, 1 to 10? In terms of burnout, are you running on empty? These lifestyle challenges that are happening day in and day out. Maybe you think you just need to get through that speaking opportunity, just get it over with. It's another stressful thing on your plate. But what if your lifestyle supported that speaking moment to feel good? That's a radical idea. And to be your best, to bring your best. So stress and burnout, really common challenges. And they usually include things like moving fast and thinking fast. So does everything in your life feel like it's fast and busy and crunched? Do you feel like your mind can't slow down? Are you one of those people that thinks, well, I can't meditate. Meditation doesn't work for me. And that's fine. Meditation, seated meditation might not be the right thing for you. I'm not saying you have to meditate to be a good speaker. I'm just saying a lot of times the women that I find really need my work are the women who have a really hard time slowing down their mind. And another challenge that I see in these women is a quality of perfectionism in their thinking, in the way that they're thinking, in the way they're perceiving things around them, whether that's the laundry, their children, their husband, their boss, what they wear, everything. And so there's a feeling of constantly not measuring up. It's never enough, always need to do more. Relate to that? And then in terms of symptoms that are happening on a regular basis, there are often sleep challenges that the women I work with are dealing with, whether that's sleeplessness before an important presentation. If you have those presentations a few times a week or a few times a month, that's a pretty regular issue with sleep, or general anxiety, insomnia patterns. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night, spinning in your mind. Maybe you have trouble getting to sleep. And this brings us to general anxiety symptoms. Heart racing, palpitations. You might be diagnosed with social anxiety. And then you discover or clarify for yourself, oh, I'm also having performance anxiety around being put on the spot and getting my work done and doing well enough at work. Once these kind of challenges start to come up for a type A professional woman, the goals that you have in the back of your mind around advancement in your career, leadership opportunities, achieving specific goals and accomplishing things for the company perhaps, those feel really hard, and you will be triggering your perfectionism, right? Feeling like, again, you're never enough, not accomplishing, not doing enough, failing. Some thoughts around why we get into these challenges. Why do we end up feeling so stressed, so anxious? I see a masculine energy in a lot of women that I work with. Masculine energy comes from competition, achieving. It's not like that's a bad thing. It's just that it can burn out a woman's nervous system and adrenal system much faster and easier than a man's. I'm talking biologically. When a woman doesn't have a connection to her body's well-being and is prioritizing others over herself, then that masculine energy starts to be a habit. Perhaps you felt like you had to emulate successful men in your career, especially in order to achieve the career goals that you have. And I have another episode coming up where I'm going to dive into this much deeper. But just to throw it out there a little bit here, burnout is a wake-up call from your body. Stress is a wake-up call from your body. Thinking fast, moving fast, anxiety, it's all a wake-up call from your somatic system, which is your nervous system, your physiology, to a need that's been ignored or missed along the way. Do you have the practices, the lifestyle practices in place that support your overall well-being so that whenever there's stress, whether it's professional stress or personal stress, you have the coping skills, the coping strategies and systems that keep you balanced. When it comes to being an effective communicator and speaker, a lot of that comes back to somatic exercises or a connection to our somatic expression. Because speaking, there's no way around it, is a physical act. It's me using my voice, moving my mouth, making sound. It takes a connection to my breathing in order to make sound. I'm using my hands, moving my body. It's a physiological expression of an idea. It's not an intellectual activity, right? It's not like sitting down and writing an email or a paper or something. It's a very embodied physical act. And others, when they see you and hear you speaking, are responding. I say this a lot in my podcast, not to the words as much as to how you say the words. So that's in the emphasis in your voice. That's in the tonality, the sound of your voice. It's in how you move, the quality of how you hold yourself, the eye contact, the connection, all of it, in order to have the kind of somatic presence that makes the impact that you want to. Your body has to feel good, reasonably enough. It needs to have energy. Your mind needs to be clear and crisp, and your emotions need to be available. So what can you do right now to shift your lifestyle, even in small ways, to support the goals you have around your speaking? I want you to take a holistic perspective, a zoom out of your life. My suggestion to you would be to care for your physical and emotional symptoms as they come up. And this is, a lifetime of learning and applying what you've learned. This will never end. And I'm really passionate about living a life of connection to my body, to my emotions, to being present, to moving forward consciously and showing up for my best self. That's what I'm all about. Specifically, of course, I speak about bringing that to your speaking, but can you imagine all the areas of your life that would be impacted by you caring for your physical and emotional symptoms as they come up in a more consistent way? I also would encourage you to lean in to feminine energy, which is all about receptivity instead of competition. I'll dive into that topic a lot more in another podcast episode. For now, consider the basics as well as the next level of self-care. The basics being things like, am I getting enough sleep? Am I drinking enough water? Do I have wholesome meals? Do I have enough alone time? Do I have enough connection and love and support in my life? That's going to the next level of things. And then more on the granular side, in the moment an emotion comes up. I'm triggered by my husband. I'm triggered by my boss, whatever it is. Are you going to push that under the rug? Shut it down? Or are you going to process that and be there for yourself and your body? Same thing with physical symptoms. You have a shoulder pain and tightness. Well, are you going to just keep working through that and pick up your kids and make dinner and do a million things and then go to the gym? Or are you going to really slow down and listen to the stress that's showing up in your body? There's a lot to this, and it's a process of learning how to listen to your symptoms, learning what practices work for you. A big part of what I teach women to do for their speaking is regularly to do what I call speaker's warm-up routine, which is simply a series of practices that shift you out of your intellectual mind and into a present moment awareness of your body, warms up your voice, your physical voice, warms up your physical body for expression, which is not about like yoga poses or anything, but about being loose and free and open with your body, and warms up your emotional state. So you're processing old stagnant emotions, bringing yourself into an energized, positive state that is available for this communication moment, and warming up your energy so that you're raising your energy level so that you can be more engaging for an audience, be available to an audience, no matter what's been happening in your life. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I recommend heading over to speaktoinspire.com, registering for the masterclass there. You'll do a few exercises with me in that masterclass so you can learn some actual things to do. And then you can feel out if it's a good fit to join the program where you can learn a lot more. Continue reflecting about your lifestyle and how it's supporting your speaking or not. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening. This has been She Speaks to Inspire with Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. I'm so glad you joined me. And I hope you got so much out of this episode. If you want to learn more about Speak to Inspire training programs and get inspired, head over to speaktoinspire.com or follow us on Instagram at She Speaks to Inspire. Never forget, The world needs your voice, and it's time for you to speak to inspire. See you on the next episode.